Now, I thought I'd be covering this story at first thing after the long weekend. Now, this story broke on Friday. Some Liberal MPs are mounting a new effort to oust Justin Trudeau as leader of the Liberal Party. But instead, today, we're going to be talking about Justin Trudeau picking another fight with India. Now, this isn't a news story. This has actually happened several times before when Justin Trudeau was in trouble here with his own party in Canada. Yeah, that's right. Justin Trudeau having trouble with his own party. But this has led to him expelling Indian diplomats. India calls expulsion of diplomats from Canada preposterous imputations driven by Trudeau's agenda. Well, we all know what Trudeau's agenda is. That is to stay in power as long as possible. And the Canadian people don't want that per se. But he'll do what he can, and he'll weasel his way through this. Now, what did he say recently? Well, his statement on this is as follows.
I think it is obvious that the government of India made a fundamental error in thinking that they could engage in supporting criminal activity against Canadians here on Canadian soil, whether it be murders or extortion or other violent acts. It is absolutely unacceptable for any country, any democracy that upholds the rule of law.
Because Justin Trudeau is a rule of law kind of guy. We all know him as such. No, of course, I'm being facetious. Everybody knows in Canada, if you break the law, especially violent criminal law, you're out on the street again in no time to harass the citizens of this country. That's right, you're out there really quick. But if you say anything against Justin Trudeau or do anything in protest, you could find yourself in jail or in trial or without bail for years to come. Now, what are we talking about today? We're talking about a group of individuals in Canada that have been dancing around, doing their thing in Canada for some time. Now, we're talking about the Khalistanis. This is a group of individuals who depict violent crimes, and they have their effigies at their violent crimes that they did perpetrate in the past. Now, this would be similar to having like the FLQ. Say the FLQ were to still exist, but they were illegal in Canada, so they started up a branch in India, for example, and they were to have their operations, and they had effigies of taking MPs, putting them in the back of cars, and kidnapping them and then killing them. That would be the equivalent of this. It is an actual terrorist organization that is allowed in Canada, and we're not sure why it's been allowed in Canada. There are actually MPs that are either members of this group, flagrant, MPs that are members of this group, and of course, India is objectionable to this situation because, well, it's been banned from their country, and there's nowhere else in the world where this is taking place. Now, of course, Justin Trudeau, what happened over the weekend, Justin Trudeau expects there will be criminal charges and trials over the assassination of a Canadian Sikh. Now, this was a while back. This is a story that happened. I covered this a while ago. I'll leave a link again in the description down below. Who was Hardeep Singh Nijjar? He was. They want to claim that he was a Canadian citizen. That, of course, only occurred through fraud. But this is where all this contention is beginning. Now, a week ago, the RCMP said they couldn't stop the CCP from laundering money from drug killings, thousands a year, or their attacks on our democracy, quoted video. What a difference a week makes, where we're also told criminal charges may never be laid against the 11 MPs named in the NSICOP report, but because of the gap between the evidence and the intelligence, this is where we're at. This is crazy. And of course, the RCMP admit they can't stop foreign interference, but here's where they're going to crack down.
And we have simply said, we're going to allow our agencies to do the work. particularly to move from intelligence collection from agencies to police investigations that result in arrests, trials, and consequences within a rigorous and robust and independent judicial system. That has been our approach every step of the way. And
if the timing seems suspect, well, it's probably because it is. Trudeau is never, every time he finds himself in a situation where he's on the line, his neck is on the line, it always turns into something like this. But this is what came out of, we're seeing foreign interference investigations. We're seeing ousting, the potential ousting of Trudeau himself. But this news breaks, of course, and this is the RCMP, talking about this. The RCMP quit investigating Trudeau and the Aga Khan case, despite evidence of fraud, says Tokyo Rosie. Brenda Lucki interfered in the Nova Scotia mass shooting investigation to help Trudeau's gun bill. The RCMP shouldn't investigate anything of national concern. They're compromised, but here we go. We're investigating India.
Earlier this week, RCMP Deputy Commissioner of Federal Policing made attempts to meet with the Indian law enforcement counterparts to discuss violent extremists occurring in Canada and India and present evidence pertaining to agents of the Government of India's involvement in serious criminal activity here in Canada. Unfortunately, these attempts were unsuccessful. Therefore, Deputy Commissioner met with officials of the Government of India alongside with the National Security Intelligence Advisor and Deputy Minister of Foreign Affairs over the weekend. Through our National Task Force and other investigative efforts, the RCMP has obtained evidence that demonstrates 4 very serious issues. 1, violent extremists impacting both countries. 2, links tying agents of the Government of India to homicides and violent acts. 3, the use of organized crime to create perception of unsafe environment targeting the South Asian community in Canada. And the 4th, interference in democratic processes. Investigations have revealed that Indian diplomats and consular officials based in Canada leveraged their official position to engage in clandestine activities, such as collecting information for the Government of India, either directly or through their agents, and other individuals who acted voluntarily or through coercion. Evidence also shows that a wide variety of entities in Canada and abroad have been used by agents of the Government of India to collect information. Some of these individuals and businesses were coerced and threatened into working with the Government of India. The information collected by the Government of India is then used to target members of the South Asian community.
Again, I would ask, put yourself into the position of if Osama bin Laden was just in Canada, do you think the Americans would come over and want to know about what he's doing? I think they would. Now, here's Justin Trudeau. He made a statement on the evidence brought forward by the RCMP against the Government of India, of course, and here's his statement here. Canada is a country rooted in the rule of law. There he is again, talking about being the rule of law guy. And protection of our citizens is paramount. That's why we should probably want to get rid of a terrorist organization within our borders. But hey, that's why when our law enforcement and intelligence services began pursuing credible allegations of agents of the Government of India were directly involved in the killing of Canadian citizen Hardeep Singh Nijjar, of which, again, I'll point out, we've covered this on the show already before. If he's considered a citizen, it's only through fraudulent means. We shared our concerns with the Government of India. I'm sorry to hear you're sad about this, that we are harboring terrorists, and asked them to work with us to shed light on the important issues. Of course, what are some of the important issues? Now, Rishi Bagree pointing out on Twitter here, question to the Canadian PM, why Hardeep Singh Nijjar, who before his death was on the no-fly list and his bank accounts were frozen, but after his death is being given tribute in Parliament. What exactly changed? And again, I said, if he was considered a citizen, it was only through fraudulent means, which is really crazy. Now, the question was brought up, the reporter asked, is India targeting the Sikh community in Canada? Well, of course not. No, only Khalistani elements. And here they're from their words.
Sandu from BlendrNews. We just heard today that India is targeting, using the terminology I'll share, the South Asian diaspora. To be more specific, is the main target of transnational repression or foreign interference and organized crime, including what we just heard, extortions, actually the Sikh Canadian community?
So yes, I mean, it is targeting the South Asian community, but what we've seen is there's specific targeting of pro-Khalistan elements in Canada.
Pro-Khalistan elements in Canada. Now, as pointed out by Tanya Gaw here on Twitter, you may see this in this video here. As Trudeau and the RCMP blabber on about India extremism, in the Khalistan Sikhs get a free pass and are even in our government. This move is 100% political. The Sikhs are using Canada to build a force against India. Traitor Trudeau has created a hotbed for extremism. Solution? Deport them all. Now, in this video is individuals from the Khalistani movement. Of course, I'm going to keep this volume down for copyright reasons, but talking about how the RCMP are afraid of them. They won't do anything about what they're doing. CSIS is afraid of them, talking about how they have weapons that are highly illegal in this country, talking about all of this. And how the intelligence agencies of India follow them around, but they can't do anything. So flaunting this action. Now, BlendrNews also pointing out about this whole situation. It's not just India that we have to watch out for. Well, let him speak for himself.
Canada has become a playground for the world's most dangerous criminals. But don't take my word for it. Here's the Minister of External Affairs from India.
Number of people with organized crime links from Punjab have been made welcome in Canada. We have been telling Canada, saying, look, these are wanted criminals from India. You have given them visas. They have come, many of them in false documentation. And yet you allow them to live there. If you decide to import for political purposes people with very dubious, actually very negative background, there will be issues. They have, in some cases, created problems in their own country as a result of their own policies.
Now consider that crime from India pales in comparison to the threats posed by Chinese criminal organizations.
Now, I'll leave a link in the description down below where you can go check out the whole thing. He goes in depth about how Chinese criminal organizations are even more prevalent in Canada than even these Indian crime organizations. So that's crazy. Of course, Kirk Lubimov pointing out TD Bank pleaded guilty to historic money laundering indictments and will pay $3 billion in fines to the U.S. regulators. So what kind of criminal organizations are happening in Canada? And why is it that, we're only cracking down on this right now because Trudeau is unpopular within his own political party? TD Bank has willingly let financial crimes flourish by facilitating financial services, depositing in transactions for criminal and drug cartels. You can't get $300 in cash from TD without your teller asking you every question under the sun for its reasons, but you can deposit hundreds of thousands of dollars in cash into someone else's account. And that's totally fine. That's where we are in Canada. But I'd love to leave this one with you guys. What do you think about all of this craziness? Why is it coming to the forefront right now? Why is it an issue in the immediate time right now? Why is Trudeau taking steps and pushing his RCMP to take further steps now? Is it because of Trudeau being in hot water right now, even with his own party, as Canada largely doesn't want him around anymore? That's it seems to be the consensus right now. He was about to prorogue Parliament. We'll see if that even happens moving forward. But here's where we are. We have tremendous amount of crime that's happening in Canada. Of course, Trudeau saying he's a law and order guy. He's just trying to crack down on some of that. Is he cracking down on it, or is it just political hot potato at the moment? Let me know in the comments down below, and we'll see you in the next one. Keep on trucking.